Hey Wizards, Midweek Magic, and I've got a deck for you that is not mono red or mono black aggro or sacrifice respectively. It's Rakdos Drain. And really the idea here is we're playing Tithing Blade that we can transform into Consuming here, which does 1 damage, and we gain 1 life at beginning of our upkeep, as well as Glassworks / Shattered Yard, where Shattered Yard does 1 damage to the opponent at each end step. Pretty solid. If we can control the board well enough to remove the creatures, remove the aggro, or the threats from our opponent's side, we can then start pinging them and restoring life each turn. To get us there, we've got a couple of creatures, just Engine Rat, which is a 1/1 Death Touch, with a little bit of ability at the end game to damage opponents, and Hungry Ghoul, which can consume our Engine Rats and other ghouls to get a little bit bigger. Can't forget about Prankster down here as well, which is just a 2/1, but it can transform into a 3/2 that when it dies, it makes the opponent sacrifice a artifact or creature of their choice. Overall, the creatures aren't anything to really write home about, but they do a good enough job at removing opponents' stuff and keeping us alive. The rest of the deck is removal and or ability to draw into the cards we need. Starting with Anoint with Affliction, you know this from Standard, you know what it does, it's amazing, it's even better in Pauper. Tithing Blade also has a sacrifice mechanic on the front end of itself. We're playing 2 black cards that that we see in Standard, so you know they're good enough to be ran in Standard, you know they're good enough to be ran in Pauper. Bitter Reunion is just a little bit of card draw. We don't generally get much value from the haste here, but dropping a Hungry Ghoul, having a mana left over, and using it on the Bitter Reunion for the haste is not nothing. Demand answers, discard a card. We don't really have artifacts we're willing to sacrifice to draw 2 cards. Again, these are really just about getting deeper into our deck and finding the answers and the removal that we need. Smash to Dust is a little bit of a flexible piece here. Destroy target artifact or destroy target creature with Defender. Both okay. I haven't really seen that come up at all, and maybe you will, probably not much. But the real value here is Smash Dust deals 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls. A light sweeper that really actually takes care of a lot of things in this meta. A lot of things are running really low to the ground, and this can help us clear out a wide board. And of course, Glassworks over here with the Shattered Yard deals 4 damage to a target creature an opponent controls, and except for the really high-end stuff, you're not going to see much that has more than 4 health, so this can really help you stabilize. And then Bloodfell Caves, we can run the tap lands, gain the life. It's a slow enough meta that I found this to be fine. The most damaging early turns I saw were typically something like a Lava Runner with turn inside out for about 5 damage. Certainly not nothing, but we have a little bit more room to play than, say, Standard, so Bloodfell Caves make for nice mana fixing. That really is about all there is to say. I will add a little bit about Pauper here just real quick. Again, seeing a lot of mono red and mono black discard while climbing to my victory lap. However, once that's finished and I started playing with other decks, I noticed there was a lot of Is It Poison and a lot of this interesting frog bounce deck out there. So be aware, those are probably the primary decks you're going to run across, and I do unfortunately think that mono red and mono black are the better choices if you're trying to get through this quickly, but this deck did succeed in just 4 games, and that was while I was working out a couple of kinks with the deck before landing on this final iteration. Versus Bartleby, maybe? Veteran Explorer. I'm not sure what you gotta do for that one. Decent opening hand, I think. Certainly keepable. We're missing the red, so I suppose this probably wasn't the best keep in the world. We'll see how it goes. Engine Rat turn 1. Opponent plays a mountain. That's not terribly surprising. I think at common value, red is really good. Fanatical Firebrand, they'll probably sack and kill. I don't know that that's a ton more value their side, but it's probably some. We'll drop the Hungry Ghoul. Potentially an important card in this deck. Tithing Blade comes down. That's actually really nice. We'll go ahead and get their creature dead. Lava Runner is a good card, so I'm not sorry to see that removed. Okay. They go for the turnouts inside out to get the Manifest trigger. Kind of actually huge for us. They get rid of Fanatical Firebrand, so we can assume that's a face-down creature. We'll go ahead and trade. They don't want to. I'm not surprised. That's fine. We can Anoint with Affliction at next turn. They Volt Charge, kill off our creature. They're not going to do anything with that, though, but we do find our red. I think I just want to Anoint this. Pyromancer? Okay. Probably not the biggest blowout for us, but not meaningless either. They do nothing there, which leaves us open to drop Prankster. They do Flame Lash to get 4 damage in on us. Okay. So probably a pretty traditional mono red aggro stand from them. We draw 2 cards off the Bitter Reunion. We don't really get anything impressive. Unfortunately, they Burst Lightning our Prankster before we can get anything good with it. We are up to 5. Does it make sense to just... Yeah, I think it just makes sense to convert Tithing Blade. We will exile a creature. We'll just take our Engine Rat out. Tithing Blade comes down. They Volt Charge us again. That's fine. We're at 11, so like we're not stoked about this. But we're a pretty good ways from dead, and they're running out of cards. Additionally, we now have a Drain on the top of each turn. Finding Hungry Ghoul again, I actually should have kept that land in hand. I'm also down to just sack Bitter Reunion here. Get Hungry Ghoul to have haste. Looks like they might have another Burst Lightning. They do. Boom. You are not an artifact, so I cannot sacrifice you with Demand Answers. And I'm not going to do it to Consuming Splunker? Spulcher? We're not going to do it to our Drain Engine. And I'm going to keep that as well. Anoint with Affliction is real good, and they're just going to surrender off that. Yeah, pretty hard to deal with. We've got removal. We've got sack outlets. Pretty solid. We'll go ahead and claim our first victory here. Calamity. Ooh, okay. Glarb. I've not gotten to play with Glarb yet, so that could be fun. Maybe we'll do a Glarb deck later. Into the next game. Against Shadowhawk. Triple Swamp gives us some time to find what we need and gives us a lot of protection against an aggro deck. I'm okay keeping this. And right off the bat, we see an aggro heavy deck. We actually get to drop Engine Rat off of our top draw. Our top deck. Now, Reckless Lackey has First Strike, so this does absolutely nothing against that. But that's okay. I've got plenty of ways to deal with Reckless Lackey that aren't that. They spend a Burst Lightning on it. They really didn't need to. I guess they were really just wanting that 1 damage in there. It's fine. Go ahead and drop the artifact, I think. They get to choose which one they want to sack here. It is the Lava Runner. Do they actually want to sack this card to create a treasure token? Is that what they're about to do? It's not what they show us. Anoint with Affliction's instant speed. I'm going to wait to see if we can't get them to tap out their mana. Yeah, and now we'll hit Reckless Lackey when they can't convert it to the treasure token. They drop another mountain and do nothing. That's what I want to see. I would really like to see a red source here, though. I'm not playing any of the dual lands. That's probably a mistake. You should probably run the common dual lands. Especially in what ultimately amounts to be a much more control-y deck. Okay. They swing at us. I don't really care. They go ahead and sacrifice it for the treasure token. That's fine. And a draw card. That's actually meaningful. They find a mountain, though. Fanatical Firebrand comes down. Again, not too big of a deal. We just gotta hold out, right? We save the Anoint with Affliction. We don't need to spend it on the Firebrand. We've got the protection against that. What we need is our red source. Restless Lackey comes down. We will block the Lackey. Let them get in the 1 damage with the Firebrand. We still don't need to hit them with the Anoint with Affliction here. There's going to be a better target 9 times out of 10. I would argue even that is a better target. And I'm going to go ahead and take it. We could have waited until next turn, but I don't want to miss out on having the mana. I still can't race here. Not until I get my next mana. Now, the next mana can be red, it can be black. I could have accidentally thrown a forest in here and it would be fine. Testing, testing. Okay, audio went out for a second there. We got the the 5th swamp, so now we can do Tithing Blade. We will exile the Engine Rat. Tithing Blade will go through. No attacks. Is this going to be like turn inside out on the Firebrand or something? Nope, just a little burst lightning to face. It is kicked, so that does do 4 damage. Gets us into a tough spot. If they've got like another one plus the Firebrand, they could potentially kill us, but only target player, Planeswalker. Can't hit the Ghoul with it. They could try to get in, but they don't. We ping 1, and we find our freaking mountain. Okay. Can we kick this? I don't think we can. I think we play out a Prankster here. Do we transform it? Yeah, I think we immediately transform it. We can pay the black, so we don't need to pay life. Very important. We get a 3/2, and when it dies, we get a good effect. So, making it really, really hard for them to come in on us. If they find the final burst, then they win. Unfortunately, just a little slow there. We did not find that red. Let's go ahead and change out a couple of those lands. Opponent plays a swamp. We will also play a swamp. Draw a swamp off top. It's pretty nice. We got all the right colors. Long way away from being able to use Final Vengeance. I mean, we can to kill something we really need to, but... Alright, it's pretty easy. We will bin... I think a Final Vengeance. We've got 2 of them in hand. Tithing Blade comes down and kills off that creature. Get in for the 1 with the Engine Rat. We will need to keep finding tools, though. If we start hitting a bunch of lands in a row, we could be in trouble here. Burglar Rat. Okay, so they're playing a pretty straightforward deck. I think I'm going to bin the Swamp here. Which did not seem like the wrong choice. I'm going to just swing with the Engine Rat. If they want to trade, that's fine. Yeah, they do. Another Burglar Rat. I think we get rid of the Final Vengeance this time. Drop the Swamp. Tithing Blade takes 5. I don't think I want to use my Enthrall to the Pit on a Burglar Rat. I think we just take the 1, go down to even life. Skull Snapped Snail is interesting. I guess we'll exit Enthrall. I don't think they're going to have cards that we want to steal. I don't think they're that kind of deck. We'll transform this. Engine Rat gets exiled. Tithing Blade gets transformed. And then we can do Demand Answers at the start of our next turn, which should be pretty good. Burglar Rat comes down, unfortunately, steals that away from us. So now we are once again in top deck territory. The land, we'll go ahead and play it, because they'll probably just discard it. We don't get much from trying to hide our hand against this opponent. Lose 3, ping them 1. Plays Fanatical Offering. Okay. Good card. One I heavily considered for this deck. Draw 2, create a map token. They lose 1 life, and we draw a swamp. Okay, I'm going to hide it in hand, see if we can't get them to trigger a discard effect. That's literally the most value I'm going to get out of it. We've got quite a few turns at this rate, though, to find an answer. And I know we have answers. Just got to get there. Ping opponent 1. Draw an engine rat. Fine. Nothing crazy. Are we playing the top end demon? No, we dropped that from the deck. Okay. Fanatical Offering comes down again. Good showing by them. Moment of Craving kills off the engine rat, gives them life. Makes this a little harder for us. We're currently on a clock of like 15 turns though, so Volt Plunderer certainly changes that. They draw a card, lose 1 life, do 2 damage. We restore one of those lives, draw a card. Hungry Ghoul comes down. Okay. We can block the Volt Plunderer with this, assuming it doesn't get killed. Moment of Craving comes down, kills it again. Which means they're going to do 5 damage to us, which has changed this into a 3-turn dilemma. Rager comes down, draws them a card. They will actually map token, see if they can hit Volt Plunder. They do, and it's another Moment of Craving on top. Opponent really working it here. We're just drawing ass. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't believe we can. Map token, Ranger on top, Phyrexian Ranger. We did not keep in the board wipes here, so this is game. Oh well. A little slower than I wanted the deck to perform, for sure. Can I... Nope. Gotta keep playing it. Okay. Man, you really screwed yourself by submitting a really awful deck and just never being able to get away from it. Alright, I guess we can keep this. Anoint, Affliction, Tithing Blade, Swamps. Find an engine right off the top again. Not too bad. Opponent also playing black. Got some sweet-ass Gundam mech sleeves. I dig it. I would not mind a Gundam crossover in our Universes Beyond stuff. Might get flack for saying that, but... Okay, so this is discard deck again. We'll go ahead and get rid of the demand answers here. We can drop Tithing Blade, which is pretty much a card we want to see every game. Don't have to, but it does a lot of work if you start getting flooded. Anoint, Affliction, Prankster. Bit of Reunion. What do we really need here? I guess we get rid of the Bitter Reunion. It's that or the land. I think we drop Prankster here. Definitely cannot transform anything. We can next turn as our ability, though, if they don't give us something we feel we have to get rid of. We can only transform as a sorcerer, right? Yes. What's opponent want to do? Inform it. Okay. This is a hard one. I think we bin the land. We're much more likely to get another land than we are another Anoint. We do, in fact, get another land. Yeah. And then swing both. They can block the engine right here if they really want. It's fine by me. Save me the Anoint. Get in for 3 damage. Pretty solid. And Goremonger is hard for them to deal with. I mean, if they've got, like, removal now, that's fine. But if they play a creature before removing it, which they do. Moment of Craving comes down, they kill it off. They have no artifact or creatures, so it doesn't do anything. We find our 5th land, trigger Tithing Blade, sacrifice the Prankster, transform this, and we are going to start dealing a little bit of damage each turn. Good chance we lose this Anoint with Affliction here. I mean, just half the cards in their deck. Discard. Hopeless Nightmare, sack, scry 2. Which means that they don't currently have answers in hand that they want to play. Which really makes me wonder what those 4 cards they have are. They bottom 2, so whatever it is they're looking for, they did not find. I'm just going to keep this Swamp in hand. So I have a target to bin that isn't the Anoint Affliction. Vault Plunderer comes down. They'll probably use this to draw a card, lose 1 life on themselves. Yep, there they go. They go down to 15. Play another Swamp. Pass. My turn. Drain 1. Another Anoint with Affliction. Okay. Again, should have kept the land card in hand. Didn't need to play that. It's fine. Okay. We're going to anoint this after attack. Go ahead and anoint it. No reason to take that 3 damage. Not sure what they've got that could potentially save this. Ah, they sacrifice it with Fanatical Offering. Draw 2. Get a map token. Anoint the Affliction no longer has a valid target, so it goes to the graveyard. Burglar Rat comes down, which is fine. We'll just anoint that as well. No discard for me. Do they have the next Fanatical? They do. There's Fanatical Offering number 2. Get rid of that. Draw 2. Demand answers. I do not have an artifact I'm willing to get rid of here. I think consuming is better than the draw 2 at the moment. And if they don't make us discard this turn, we'll be able to discard the next card we draw. That's unlikely. I say as Hopeless Nightmare comes down, makes us spin it. What are you going to do? They might go for a creature now. Nope, they still just go for the Scry 2. What do you have in hand? Do you have some like crazy 7-8 power or 7-8 mana drops? They top deck something. I wonder if it's Artifact 8. Ping 1. We find another Demand Answers. Same story as last time. We don't have good targets for it, so we can't use it. Plunderer comes down. They draw a card, lose 1 life. Hopeless Nightmare. They make us spin the Demand Answers again. And they're going to map token up the Plunderer. Not too surprising. They whiff. They've got another one. They can do it again. I was shaking my camera. They whiff twice. Ouch. Second Tithing Blade. Hello. This comes down, kills off their creature. Unfortunately, we can't transform it this turn because it does require 5 mana. We'll do that next turn. Rampaging Spiketail comes down. Doesn't actually do anything this turn. Its ETB is completely wasted. Opponent loses 1 life. I don't think we could have done that crafting before upkeep. We do have Engine Rat to get rid of here. Second Tithing Blade has transformed. And did its job. Like, it killed a 3-1. We do need to find an answer of some kind to Rampaging Spiketail, though. Its clock is faster than our consumings are. We've got a fair number of answers. Anoint does fine. Hungry Ghoul buys us a turn. The other Tithing Blades come in and do the job. Enthrall to the Pit would be amazing. That'd be the real card we want here. 2 damage. We get Prankster. Prankster's not bad. It comes down. We immediately transform it. We don't even have to pay life. And they can't hit this thing without now losing unless they can take it out right here. Which they do with a Moment of Craving, which we knew they had. Unfortunate. It's not like we really could have waited for them to burn 9 mana, though, to do something. 10 mana to do something. So, Skull Cap Snail comes down. Exiles out our land. No problem. We're going to do 5 damage here. Knocks down to 12. Again, we got plenty of cards we can find. Our life game is not inconsequential. We'll go ahead and lay Hungry Ghoul. They might have more of the moments of cravings. Spin out. Okay. Interesting. But anything we can do to prohibit that 5 from hitting us face, we need to try. 2 more off consuming. Unfortunately, Tithing Blade no longer does it. Engine Rat's not bad. Especially since we can do the trigger. No, it's 6. Dang it. 1 more mana. Should have played that mountain from earlier. Spin out. Alright, getting a lot of the removal gone. They're going to do 6 damage. We'll go back up to 6. Yeah. So, this is the moment of truth. There's still a couple of cards we can draw that might be able to give us some time. We do 2 more. Tithing Blade's interesting, but it's not going to be enough. They'll get rid of one of their 1/1s here, probably the Informant or the extra Skull Cap. But then they're going to do 7 damage on the swing back. So close to being able to drag it out. Unfortunately, we just couldn't draw any of the cards we actually needed. I don't really know that we're all that sack at this point. We wanted it to be a Rakdos sack, but it really didn't stay sack. You don't have enough benefit from sacrificing some of your creatures. Alright, we've got the Bloodfell Caves now. That's a nice change. We got 2 Tithing Blades. We've got Smash Ducks. We've got Glassworks. We've got a lot of our game plan going on here. We'll see which of the 2 decks opponent is. Looks like they're the discard deck. We'll go ahead and Bloodfell Caves, go up to 21 life. We can Tithing Blade next turn, so I'm hoping they're playing a creature. Ooh, Toxic. Do we have a 3rd deck in the meta? Well, killing that no matter what. Tithing Blade comes down, takes out the Siphoner. I think I was looking at this card for an insect deck I want to make. And I've made the deck, actually. I just haven't got the chance to play it for video yet. I guess we do Bitter Reunion here and bin one of our lands. Find Hungry Ghoul. It's unfortunately we can't use that or summon it yet. This is fine. This is good. We've got all the cards we need. If they want to keep playing creatures, we can keep killing them. 2/4. I think this is actually a really good target for the Glassworks. So I think I'm going to play a red here. Play out Glassworks. 4 damage. Indeed, that's good. Kill off this card. And the next turn we can either do Shattered Yard or the Tithing Blade. We've got a creature. We do not have a creature dead and in the graveyards yet. Okay. To rend it. Okay. Oh, and it has haste. Boy, oh boy. Haste Toxic 3/4/4. Alright, well, let's make sure that's the last they get out of that boy. Sacrifice. And I think it's just Bitter Hungry Ghoul here. And a Swamp. We can actually sacrifice the Bitter Reunion. There's not really much ideal that we're going to be saving it for at this point, so we're just going to get in. They could have another Atrocity. Okay, they got the next 2/4. We can drop the Engine Rat. No creature, so we're going to just go ahead and unlock Shattered Yard here. Deal 1 damage. The 2/4 with Menace is pretty annoying. We're going to have to double block this. Plague Nurse. Okay. Pretty annoying. They choose not to attack. So we're going to do Bitter Reunion. Sack this mountain. Ooh, is it the mountain or is it the Smash to Dust? They're not playing cheapo creatures. I think we just get rid of the Smash to Dust. Play out another Glassworks. That's pretty good. And I think we actually take out Head Cleaver here. The Menace, to me, is more annoying than the Plague Nurse. And I think we might even actually swing here with the Hungry Ghoul, just so we have the freaking ability of transforming a Tithing Blade next turn. And if they think we're pulling a fast one on them, they can not block it. Yeah. Okay, so they say bet. We say nope. Deal 1 damage. They go down to 16. A second Plague Nurse. We can handle that. We can demand answers next turn. Are they going to attack? They do attack. I do think we got to block that. It might be demand answers here. Go try to find more of our removal suite. Yeah, I think that's going to be what we do. We're going to discard a card. We're going to get rid of the cave. We've got our mana. And answers finds us our next Glassworks. That's what we'll play. And we've gone through quite a few cards here. Down to 39. They're still at 46. I'm not entirely sure how many cards we have drawn or not drawn, but we're doing pretty good. We've got all of the triggers we want. That is somewhat annoying. Dune Mover. And it has Toxic. We find a Hungry Ghoul, though, which is more than enough to handle it. And we got... Let's do Tithing Blade. We don't actually need that much health. We'll do Engine Rat. But I think the Drain is slightly better. Definitely not the fastest deck in Pauper. Which is kind of saying it's slow. Like, not kinda, it's slow. Drain 1. Ah, Prankster comes down. Nice. If we do this for 3, we'll have 3 mana left open, which is just not enough. I don't really know that we need this guy transformed anyways. So for at least now, I'm just going to open up a Shattered Yard, and they go ahead and scoop off that. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. We were getting to being a lot of value. We were going to be up to 5 damage a turn by the time they died, so hard to keep up with. Deck did what we wanted. It's not really Rakdos Sack, which you might have noticed in the thumbnails over here. I had it called for a little while. Kitesail Arsonist, cool. This is really just Rakdos. Massive the Ambitious. Okay, not a bad amount of removal. This is fine. One opens up with a Mountain and Fanatical Firebrand, so we have a good idea of what we're playing against. Should have played the Bloodfell Caves there, but that's fine. Second Fanatical Firebrand comes down. They swing 2. That is also fine. Find another Bloodfell Caves, but we should not have played it there. We'll go ahead and play our first Tithing Blade. I don't think this deck plays anything over 3 mana, so we'll save Anoint for Affliction for something a little bit more worthwhile. This is going to be Might of the Meek. Okay. Which gives it Trample and draws a card. Okay. Smash to Dust. Super, super important card for this fight up. Tithing Blade number 2 will come down. We do not have any creatures of our own in the bin yet, so we cannot actually do the Transform. Pyromancer comes down. I'm not super keen on hitting that with Anoint with Affliction. And thankfully we find Prankster. So we'll gain 1 life here off the Bloodfell Caves, and we'll drop Prankster. A part of me would like to transform this, but I think it's actually better as a burn one of their cards, which happens to be Lightning Strike in this case, and use it to convert Tithing Blade. Crash through, draw a card. Clockwork Percussionist, so now I'm okay using Smash to Dust. Hungry Ghoul we also find. Let's go through this and figure out if we actually need to play the land here. I don't think we do, so we can do Bloodfell Caves and gain another life. They will get a draw off the Percussionist, essentially, which is just a mountain, but it does help filter them a little bit more still. We'll gain another life, and I'm going to drop Ghoul instead of holding up the Anoint with Affliction. Could be wrong, but I don't think, in Pauper at least, they're going to have the ability to come swinging that hard this turn. Lava Runner plus Turn Inside Out is decent, but isn't backbreaking on its own. We have some time. And opponent looks like they're starting to run out of steam. We're going to go ahead and transform one of these Tithing Blades this turn. It does mean that we cannot hold up Anoint the Affliction again, even if we were to play out the land, which I don't really want to because we have some discard outlets that I prefer to use on those instead. I am tempted to swing with Hungry Ghoul, though. Is that bad? Could be bad. They're going to Burst Lightning our Hungry Ghoul. I feel like that was actually pretty weak sauce on opponent's side. They just sacrificed 4 damage to kill my 2/2 creature when I'm kind of controlling the board anyways. Like, they didn't really get much value out of that, although maybe Burst Lightning could have been used to go overhead, but I think that they were getting to the point where I had stalled them out too long, and now I had shown them a win con, even if that win con was going to take a little while. So, there we have it. I don't know if it's the easiest 3 wins you can have, but Rakdos Pauper does do the job.